Everyone, welcome to my second video for Stamping Basics, and I'm going to cover different types of rubber stamps and different mounting options. When I first started stamping, or when I first wanted to start stamping, I found this extremely confusing. There are two types of rubber stamps. The traditional red rubber, which you might see also in gray, and I think I read someone was coming out with lime green, but most of them are red. And then the clear photopolymer or clear acrylic stamps. And these are a little bit newer to the market. The traditional red rubber has been around for quite some time. The clear stamps need no mounting whatsoever. You stick them on an acrylic block, and that is the equivalent of having a wood block. These are nice because then you can see exactly where you're stamping when you stamp with them. You scrub it off just like you would a regular red rubber stamp and stick it back on its page. These are very easy to store, and that I think has made them very popular, as well as the fact that they are clear so you can see where you're stamping. This brings me to the different options for the red rubber. You can buy them like you see them at Michael's or Joann's or the other craft stores. Most of the time people are used to seeing them mounted on the wood. However, the wood takes up a lot of space, and it also is more expensive, and it makes it harder to see where you're stamping. I know for me, the first few times I tried stamping, I got so frustrated because it was always crooked or in the wrong spot, or I didn't have it quite right, and so I would just give up. Then when I finally took the plunge and decided I was really going to do this, I realized as I browsed around online that there was different mounting options to choose when I would order stamps. I also ordered some of my very first stamps from Stamping Bella, and those came absolutely bare. So, I'm going to talk about a few of these options. This stamp is mounted on cling foam or cling cushion. So you will see it referred to as cling mounted. It's got the foam cushion, but it's not stuck to wood. Instead, the back of this is just a smooth surface that will also stick to an acrylic block. Obviously, I would use a larger one, but we'll just pretend for now. You stamp with it, you can see your outline clearly. The stamp itself is not see-through, obviously, but just having the outline makes it easier to position your stamp. Scrub it, take it off, easy to store, cheaper to buy. The next option, and this one gets people really confused, I think. When my Bellas arrived as bare rubber, I had no idea what to do with them. And it was very frustrating. I think I wanted to cry. So, I want to tell you about a few options you have. Sometimes they will arrive bare rubber and trimmed out, like these did. Sometimes these are from a set that I got from the Greeting Farm, and it was a full sheet of rubber, and you had to trim all the stamps. I had to trim out the stamps myself. You have a few different options you can do with this. This cling foam is sold in sheets, 8.5 by 11 sheets, or even sometimes bigger. In fact, you can buy it by the roll. And the most common reference to this is Easy Mount. You'll see it referred to as Easy Mount, although I think that might be a brand name. What you would do with Easy Mount, one side is very, very sticky. The other side is the cling side. So you take the backing off, stick your bare rubber onto the sticky side, and then you trim it out with a pair of scissors. These scissors are by Tim Holtz. They're really, really good for doing that. They don't get gunky. The sticky stuff doesn't stick to the blades. And so that is how you would turn a bare rubber stamp into a cling mounted stamp. However, this can become expensive and time consuming, which I realized one day when I had a stack of Bella stamps and a stack of Whiff of Joy stamps all arrive at the same time, And the thought of buying all of that Easy Mount and then trimming them out, I just wasn't sure I could do it. That's when I discovered a product from Sukaneko called Tack and Peel. Tack and Peel is fabulous. Instead of putting it on each of your rubber stamps, you put it instead on your acrylic block. It's completely see-through, and then your block is the only thing you have to cut out and cover. So you take your acrylic block and trace. I'm going to trace onto the yellow part, it's easier. Trace the size of your block. Cut it out. You can see these cut really well through sticky stuff. Now you're going to want to clean your acrylic block first. I use Ranger's alcohol ink blending solution because it seems to take everything off really, really well. And that way you know that you have a nice clean, clear surface to stick your Tack and Peel to. Peel off the yellow covering first. See if I can get to it. Place it over your clear block that you just cleaned. So you can see it's perfectly clear. Press it down. Now, you have a surface you can use your cling mounted stamps with, but you also peel off this clear protective sheet and you have a sticky surface, as you can see, very sticky, you can use bare rubber with. Stamp, scrub it on your scrub pad, peels right off. It's fabulous. This way I do my acrylic blocks and then I don't have to worry when my stamps come in. Bare rubber, cling mounted, it doesn't matter. Even my Stampin' Up! Sets, as soon as they arrive, before I use them for the first time, I peel them right off of that cling foam so that I have just the bare rubber and it's easier to store. When I stamp, I like to see my outline, so I do still trim out my rubber a little bit. This one isn't trimmed quite close enough to my liking. Very easy, quick task to just trim around the edges. You don't have to be too careful as long as you don't trim or cut the surface lines of the stamp. You can cut pretty close and it will still stamp fine. This way, when I'm stamping, I get the outline of the stamp and it makes it easier to position it, and then just peel it right off. The last option you have for bare rubber that a lot of people use is something called Aleene's Tack It Over and Over. It's a glue, a liquid glue. You put a thin layer on the back of the stamp, let it dry, and then you can cling it to your plain acrylic mounting block and take it back off. I tried this on a couple of stamps, however, I am just too messy because then I had paper sticking to it. I had all kinds of things sticking to the back of my stamps. They were sticking to each other. So it didn't work out for me. Once I found the Tack and Peel, I knew that that was the best way to do it.